Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today I'm checking out a 2019 Chevrolet Blazer all-wheel drive in the RS trim level. This Blazer is sitting on 265/45 Continental tires wrapped around 21-inch alloy wheels with a gloss black finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated disc rotors on all four wheels. The name of this color is Red Hot Red. And it's turning out to be a hot day today and the sun is shining, so hopefully you can get an idea of what this color looks like if the camera does it justice. So the grille is mostly a gloss black. So with the RS, it has this type of grille pattern. It's hard to explain, but I think you get the idea. A little bit of matte black there on the center portions, but mostly a gloss black. You also have a smoked chrome portion across, underscoring the daytime running lights here on the left and right side. Kind of accents the width of the vehicle. RS badging here on the right. Looking pretty cool. And then you have a little camera right here in the very center. That's part of the surround camera system. I'll show you that. It's very, very advanced. You can see all around the vehicle there's a camera in the front, back, and underneath both side mirrors, and I'll show you that in detail later on. Now the headlights are in projector tubes powered by HID bulbs right in here. Just underneath that is your turn signals with standard bulbs. The headlights do also have black bezels. These portions up here are just your daytime running lights, or LED accents. Then you have a little bow tie in there. That's pretty neat. Now it does have active grille shutters as well. So back in here, I don't know if you can see in there, there's louvers that cover up the air conditioning condenser and radiator. So that way, while you're driving, if it doesn't need the additional cooling, it can transfer the air around the vehicle, the more aerodynamic vehicle, instead of the less aerodynamic engine bay. So they'll open and close automatically. Now this one has the radar adaptive cruise control, and the sensor is behind one of these covers. I'm not sure exactly which one it is. But you also have a camera right up in here behind the rear view mirror, and the rear view mirror is pretty cool. It's not just a rear view mirror. I'll show you that when we get inside. But there's a camera here as well, and this is part of your safety system as far as the lane keeping assist. It keeps an eye on the road and also keeps an eye on vehicles in front of you. Taking a look at the profile here, a lot of gloss black here on the side as well. So you have this portion around the wheel wells here in the front, around here, and then you have a smoked chrome portion right in this area. And the doors go all the way to the bottom, so that way it covers up the bottom portion. So when you open up the door, you'll be able to get in the vehicle and have a clean spot there in your threshold to avoid, or at least try to avoid, dirtying your clothes while you're getting in and out. And this is for your front and rear doors. Now you notice the body colored handles here. They have a button on the front and the back, so that way you can lock or unlock them with the proximity key using any door, even the lift gate. Now the back portion windows are tinted already from the factory. They're blended in with these gloss black pillars. You also have gloss black roof rails here at the top and a little blending into the rear glass right in here. Body colored side mirrors with an LED turn signal indicator as well. And you see the gloss black wheels kind of blend in with all the gloss black. Probably be a good idea to have this thing ceramic coated or something to keep it clean. So you have the Blazer badging here on the side. And this is what the key looks like. It's a proximity key system and has a pretty good smooth shape, so it can slip in your pocket easy. It does have a little bit of weight to it, but it feels very solid. And it has a physical key on the inside in case you need it. Very handy buttons here: lock, unlock, remote start, power liftgate, and a panic button. So as long as you have this key in your pocket, in a bag, as long as it's with you when you approach the vehicle, you can lock or unlock the doors simply by pushing this button. So you push it to lock, you push it to unlock, and then it allows you access to the vehicle. You also have the ability to open up the power liftgate using, of course, the key fob, or there's a little illuminated bow tie that lands on the ground right here behind the vehicle, and as you walk towards the vehicle, it senses the key and it illuminates that. You can't really see it during the day, but at nighttime it really stands out. And I'm going to make a separate night video for this vehicle so you can see all the lights inside and out and all the lighting features, and so that way you can see what it looks like driving down the road and all that stuff at nighttime. Here's the threshold I was talking about. You can see that seal there at the very bottom, so that way it mates up with the door as you close it. Try to keep that area clean as you drive. Here's the inside of the passenger side door, and soft touch surfaces are here. The rest of it is a hard touch. Now this up here is a hard touch, but it's slightly softer, has like a rubberized coating on it. And then you have a gloss black, more gloss black here. And then you have a little handle that's chrome. It's kind of satin chrome. There's a smoked chrome area or a gloss black there. It does have the Bose sound system. Sounds really good. Little pocket, rubberized portion at the bottom here, and then you have a bottle holder at the bottom. I really like this little pocket. That comes in handy. There's your threshold. Power seat here for the passenger side. It goes up and down, but no tilt. And then there's your back portion there. So the seats are leather and they have a red stitching. So hopefully you can see this with the sun shining here. The perforations for the ventilated and heated seats, inside is a red portion inside each hole, and it really looks pretty cool. Hopefully the camera can pick that up. Then of course you have the red stitching here in a French design, and then the red piping integrated into the seat. So the seats are not super bolstered, so if you don't like that really squeezing feel of a tight bolstered seat, then you'll really appreciate these seats. There's a storage pocket on the passenger side of the console there, and there's the legroom, pretty much wide open except for a small amount of tapering right here. This one has the rubber mats in place. Dashboard is a soft touch here, and you have that gloss black. This is a hard touch surfaces, and check out these vents. They're really neat. It looks like a little wind turbine or a wheel, however you want to look at it. They're just like the Camaros. And to open up the glove compartment, there's a little button up here. It says glove box. Push that and it allows you access to this huge smooth plastic on the inside glove compartment. Massive sunroof. The back door swings out almost wider. I think it is actually a little bit wider as far as the angle than the front door. So this is nice because the opening is slightly smaller, so getting in and out of the vehicle should be slightly easier because the door is not going to be in your way as much. So the inside of the back door is a little bit less ornate, I guess you can say. Soft touch here and there. It's like a vinyl surface. One stitching right here, but the rest of it's just all black except for the handle. Little storage space right in there and a bottle holder. So here's your back seat. It's basically like a bench seat with a 60-40 split fold down feature to add to your cargo space. It does have the latch system for car seats or ISOFIX. Armrest that's not very soft with cup holders is in here in the center. You can move that up out of the way. USB and USB-C outlets. Now, they have a little bit of illumination around the outside, and I'll show you that in a night video. You also have a 150 watt AC outlet, sort of like what you'd find in your house, right here, 3-prong, that's nice. And then this little storage cubby in here. And check it out, almost completely flat floor. I mean, it is flat. That really helps out us if you have a center passenger, but just in general, just getting in the back and not having this big hump in the center. On the back of both front seats, you have a pocket right here. There's your climate control vents. These seats do recline. You notice this seat's a little bit further back than the other one. They do have the ability to recline as well as move forward and back, just in case you need additional cargo space and not so much legroom. Taking a look at the back of the vehicle, body colored shark fin antenna right here in the center. Third brake light is at the very top of the glass. Then you have a wiper there. Nice contours. And speaking of contours, these tail lights, a little bit three-dimensional, kind of stick out there a little bit. Don't really notice that from a distance, but once you get close, you're like, hey, this is pretty neat. So it has the RS badging back here as well. Then you have a camera system here, and then your release is down here. All gloss black here with actual functional dual exhaust tips, looking pretty nice, and parking sensors across the back blended in with the gloss black. To raise the power liftgate, you can use the key, the button on the key, or there's a little button under here you can push and it'll lift up for you. Or that little bow tie that illuminates on the ground. Remember, I'll show you that at night. You can't really see it during the day. But basically, you just have your key with you and put your foot under there briefly, and it'll allow you access to the trunk area. It lifts it up for you. And you can set the height if you want to. This is the maximum height here. And here's your cargo area. Pretty good size. I mean, considering you have the seats in place, of course you can fold those seats down and add to your cargo space while still maintaining passenger space if you'd like. Little storage cubby here on the right side. A little light on the right side. This is a little hook that you can hang some stuff. 12-volt power supply over here as well. This is a latch to lower your seats. Now you will need to make sure your front seats are out of the way enough to allow those to fold down. Another light on the left side, I really like that. It has two, and then there's another little hanging hook right here. Then you have tie downs. And you can see this one has this cargo management where this rail, you can remove the rail or you can slide it anywhere on this portion here to secure your load or whatever. Under this mat is a handle, you can lift it up, and this is where you'll find your spare tire, tools, more storage space, as well as way back in there that you can put some stuff that you don't have to access all the time, maybe some emergency tools or whatever. But yeah, a little bit of extra space under here, out of sight, out of the way. And the spare tire is not underneath the vehicle getting dirty and all that stuff. This is really handy and easy to get to. So folding the seat down, let's go ahead and pull this latch. I think that front seat's out of the way enough. Go ahead and push this because, yeah, it swings down, and also the headrest doesn't automatically fold. So you see the driver's seat is probably gonna hit it if I were to fold this seat down. So you gotta make sure that things are out of the way when you do it. But you can see I've added to the cargo space while still maintaining a passenger space. So I can fold down one or the other, or both, and have a huge open space back here. When you take the center cover off, there is the tow package, and it has the outlet here with the 7-way outlet, and you have your hooks on the side. The fuel door is here on the driver's side, and it is capless, so you don't have to worry about a cap. It does have some seals here at the top and bottom, but generally you just put the nozzle in there, pump the gas. You don't have to worry about a cap being loose. It's actually a 2-stage door there, so that way it keeps the debris and stuff from getting in your tanks. You want to make sure you put the nozzle in all the way, and there's a supplied funnel in case you need to use a gas can. Let's go ahead and start it up. As long as we have the key inside the vehicle, it could be in our pocket, in a bag, whatever. We just put our foot on the brake, hold it, and push this button. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. You can see there's the accelerator and brake pedal and a nice footrest with a really good angle right in here. And the floor mats snap in place here on the driver's side, so that way it doesn't slide around on you. So let's take a look under the hood. To open the hood, there's a latch right here in the very center. You just reach in, move it to the right, and lift up. And it goes up the rest of the way by itself. Just to lift it up a little ways, you can see there's the latch right here. Just reach in, move it to the right. And there's a seal around the front of the hood here. This is protecting the intake, which is right here. So you don't want to spray in there. Even gives you a little warning there. No cleaning and spraying in that intake. But basically this intake, the air is coming in through the front of the grill and being channeled up in here. All right, so it has a little tiny plastic cover, just a little tiny cover on top, which makes the little engine just look like a little tiny thing, but actually it's a V6 and extended all the way back here. It's kind of interesting. So, but you can see the insulated firewall with some heat shielding back there. And there's the strut towers, suspension towers, and they're braced in with the unibody structure of the vehicle. And there's the battery that's easy to get to. The inside of the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. I want to point out here, the blind spot detection system, little indicator, is here on the side mirror. You can see that a little bit there. So you have your 2 presets and an exit mode for your power seat for the driver. Power windows, the driver is automatic, 1 touch up and down. Side mirrors are adjusted here. You can just pick a side and adjust it with that little pad. So the windows go up and down quite fast. You also have for your power liftgate an adjustment. So you can have it max 3/4 or off, so that way if you're in the garage you can have it 3/4 if it's a little bit lower, or off, so that way it doesn't automatically open up on you or whatever. Driver's seat, of course, 1-ups the passenger with tilt, raise, lower, and all that. Tilt the back, and then a 2-way lumbar adjustment. Maybe you can see that red in the perforations a little bit better this angle. Looking pretty cool. To the left of the steering column, you have your dimmer switch for your interior gauges. Your headlight controls as daytime running light off, automatic parking and headlights. And then you have a electronic parking brake here. Push to engage, push to release. You just have to push the brake when you release it. And a 4-way tilt telescoping steering column. Okay, sitting in the driver's seat checking it out. I have the seat all the way back and all the way down. and I'm 6 feet tall. Just to give you an idea of the legroom, this is way too far back for me to really comfortably drive. But you can see potential legroom here. And the footrest, when I have my seat adjusted, the angle is perfect, and the size is absolutely perfect. It goes up quite a ways. So even if you had like a size 15 shoe, I have 13 here, I have plenty of room. Leather wrapped steering wheel with the red stitching matching the rest of the vehicle here. Then it has this metallic accent, looking nice. It feels like metal, I'm not sure, probably not. It's not cold. But it extends up here. Steering wheel is very comfortable and has a good thickness to it. It is a heated steering wheel. The heated steering wheel control is right there, on or off. You also have your cruise control here on the left side. This right here is not a button. These two are not buttons. You will have to use this going up and down. And then these are buttons. So you can turn it on, turn it off, set, and resume. Now it does have the adaptive cruise control, in which you can set the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. And then of course there's the mixed in there, randomly I guess, is your heated steering wheel control. Here on the right side, this is your voice recognition. This is to answer calls or make calls or bark out commands in which the vehicle recognizes, and then you have the ability to hang up on people here. And just like the other side, this portion and that portion are not buttons. That's just indicator for this little wheel. And these buttons here, all this corresponds with the screen between the gauges. We'll get to that in just a second. Windshield wiper controls for your front and rear are on the right side of the steering column. On the left side is your turn signal. It also has your headlight dimmer switch. It also has automatic headlight dimmer. So as you're driving, it can recognize headlights, oncoming traffic, but also tail lights. It does a really good job. So far, I've been driving a lot at night, and it does handle it fine. I never really had an issue with it blinding anybody or leaving me blinded in the dark. So here's the gauges. So you can see here on the left side, this is your RPMs. And check it out, it almost redlines almost at 7,000 RPMs. Isn't that amazing? And then it says auto stop and then off. So as you're driving the vehicle, it does have the automatic stop start feature, which it will turn off the engine when you're sitting at a standstill with your foot on the brake at a stoplight or an extended period of time in traffic jam or whatever. It'll turn on off the vehicle if certain parameters are met, like your seatbelt's on, that kind of stuff. And it'll go into this auto stop mode, so that way you know that it's going to restart. If it goes all the way to off, that means you know that the vehicle is actually off and it's not going to restart. But this is just letting you know that it's the RPMs are off, but the vehicle is still on. Here on the right side, well, right here is your this is your engine oil temperature. You don't want to mix that up with the engine coolant temperature. And there's your fuel gauge, has a little arrow pointing to which way the fuel door is on that little fuel pump. That's pretty cool. And then the voltage here for your alternator. But right here in the center, you notice this is a screen. These portions here on the left side and right side are all part of that screen. This is all digitally represented, and it has a speedometer, like a digital version of an analog speedometer. But we can scroll through, and we have a digital speedometer here in the center portion. Let's kind of scrolling through here. You have a timer and different information, including your tire pressure. That's nice. Oil life, fuel range, instant fuel economy as you're driving. There's a trip. So you can see trip A, 29 miles. I reset that this morning. Average fuel economy, 17. Now I have been doing some idling and stuff while I'm filming, which brings it down. This is the trip when the vehicle was dropped off to me. Average fuel economy, 19. Average speed, 23 miles per hour. Now, like I said, this vehicle has been doing some sitting still and posing for the camera and stuff like that. Now if we scroll to the left, we have a little menu system here. We can display the audio if we'd like. Navigation, it'll let us know what we need to do while we're driving. Phone information, this will be like the caller ID, that kind of stuff. And then you have your settings here, your options. So we can scroll through this and adjust different. Okay, so this is the display theme. Let's go ahead and change that to touring. So we can change that, it's on sport now. Let's go to touring. Now we don't have that analog style speedometer, we just have a digital speedometer up here with a bigger display here at the bottom. Let's go back to sport so we can continue on. Alright, so let's go back here and we can scroll back up and go to our original screen here. So that's kind of a quick rundown of this particular screen, and you don't have to go into any of that if you don't want, but it's there in case you need to adjust something. Now your odometer is here on the bottom. You have a digital compass. This is let you know the status of your cruise control and then what gear you're in. We're in park. I like the way the start button's up high. It's easy to see, easy to find. Four-way flashers are here. And there's our touch screen. Remember, we have that glove box light button right here, so that way we can open it up. Traction control is next to it. Not sure why it's not reversed, but it's there. This is to turn it off. Default will be on for your traction control. So your touch screen is here, and it's flickering a little bit only because of the camera. It's not actually doing that in real life. It is an LED backlit display, making it flicker in conflict with the camera. I can try to mitigate that. There we go. That might work a little bit. But anyways, so here's the touch screen, and we have the little home button here. So we push that, push it again, you notice it goes to these two screens. So this one is a split between your navigation and whatever's going on with your phone. This is just the second screen. So if we're in this screen, we can scroll over. You see little dots here at the bottom going to the next screen and the next screen. So these are little icons just like you'd see on your phone. So you can go straight to your audio, and then you have Bluetooth, USB. Let's go ahead and turn the volume down. So this would be your satellite radio. You have your presets here at the very top. Hit more. This will give you more choices, all the choices I guess right here. AM, FM, satellite radio, and Bluetooth. Now if you have a USB device, you can just plug it in and it'll start playing, but you do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So let's go ahead and go here, and so you can see it says Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You will have to plug the device in. Nothing's going to happen right now unless the vehicle's connected directly to the device. You have user settings that you can have individual settings for different users. You can set up different phones here. There's none connected right now. But it does have its own wireless connection, so you can get emergency help even without a cell phone connected. Navigation. This is what the map looks like. You can pinch zoom, kind of zoom around. We can search for destinations here. We can also save and edit destinations here. We can show different places, and we can go into settings and events and stuff like that here. The vehicle also has the ability to have a Wi-Fi hotspot, since it has its own cellular connection. So that way if your kids are in the back with tablets or whatever devices, the vehicle can handle all that wirelessly in the vehicle. OnStar services, you can access here. This is something you'd have to sign up for It does, the new vehicle does come with it, but eventually you will have to pay for it. And then your apps. So give that a second to load up. So this would be things like Spotify, Glimpse. Glimpse is one of those programs in which you can let other people know where you're at. So it gives them a GPS coordinate of where you're at and all that stuff. iHeartRadio, different things like this. Now, the fun part, well, let's go into climate control. So you can see the digital version of the climate control. You do have physical buttons down here. We'll get to that in a second. But this is my favorite part, the camera system. So check it out. Really awesome. So you have a top-down view right here. It uses all the cameras around the vehicle and it stitches them and corrects the distortion to give you a view like you're looking straight down onto the ground. Now, I just a minute ago, to get in this little shade, I used the camera to get really close to this curb without touching the tire to the curb. So that was pretty neat. But anyway, it gives you a real-time view around the vehicle. That's your default. Now, we push this, it'll give us the rear view with active guidelines. So as I turn the steering wheel, it'll let us know where the wheels are actually going to go, even the front wheel protruding out. So we can make that selection, front and back. We can go the front, wide, super wide view front, super wide view rear. The next one is a top-down close-up view of the rear. Push it again, top-down close-up view of the front. The next one kind of looks like a video game now, where it gives us a view, kind of an overhead view, third-person view of where you're at in relationship to other things. Push it again. Now we have the same thing but behind you. Really, really cool. Next one, this is the one I used to get close to that curb. But this is the rear wheels. Push it again. Now we can see the front wheels. So as I turn them, so you can see how close I am to that curb. So that way I can see right precisely where the front wheels are, and it gives me that view. The next one, this turns on or off the active guidelines. So let's go back to a screen that has them. All right, so we can turn them on or off. And then this one right here gives us the view without the top-down view. So if we just want to see the view without the top-down, we can make that bigger. So yeah, this is a really nice camera system. I find it really handy. The resolution is very good, and of course the screen looks good as well. The brightness and all that stuff looks good. Now it's a little bit slightly disconnected from the dash, the actual screen, but it's not like sticking up like a tablet propped up on the dash. But it looks really good. It has a good angle. The clarity of the colors and everything about it is really nice. Of course, you have physical buttons down here. This is your volume knob. That's it. It just looks small and insignificant there, and also, I don't know, it just seems like it'd be better to have a larger dial, like your climate control dial. We'll get to that in a second. But anyways, this is go back out of certain screens like so. Okay, so down here, climate control. So physical buttons, you don't have to actually go into the screen here and use the buttons on the screen. You have cooled seats, has a 3-stage, low, so you have off, high, medium, and low. So it's 3-stage. Same thing with the heated seat. So it's a dual climate control, driver and passenger. Right now I have them synced, so both of them are on the same temperature. So you have your heated and cooled seats for your passenger as well, both 3-stage. Where you want the air to blow, you have your front and rear defroster and your fan speed. Now to adjust your temperature, this is really cool. So you have your vents here, but just like the Camaro, this dial around the vent is how you adjust your temperature. And it pops up here on the screen as well when you're doing it. Same thing for the passenger on this side. It's just a big dial. So there's these huge dials for your temperature, but this little itty bitty, teeny weeny volume knob. Now, of course, with your radio, there's another way of adjusting the volume, and this is what I find I use more often than that. On the back of the steering wheel, is your volume for your radio. So up and down back here. So that's your volume. On the left side on the back is tuning through your stations. So you notice there's no tuning knob, just the volume knob. So the steering wheel is where you'd really want to adjust it, but that little knob right there is just there in case you need it. But I don't know, it just seems a little tacked on and kind of small or something about it that just seems like it can be improved. So you have a USB and USB-C. So both of these are inputs to the radio system. This is handy if you're doing Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, or just playing things with a, playing music off of an SD card, something like that. Now there's inputs here and in the center console. Either one you can use to plug into the system. So down here is a wireless cell phone charger, and it's kind of dished out, has a rubber bottom portion, it's pretty big size. So you put your cell phone in there, even if it has a thick case, like mine has a pretty thick case. So I've got a wallet case. So I take it and I put it in there and it charges just fine. And it keeps it from sliding around. It's very accessible, and really like that feature. I just set the cell phone in there. I don't have to worry about when I get wherever I'm going, it's already charged. So as you can see, it's charging. It's probably fully charged. Not quite. Yeah, 100%. All right. Okay, so here's your shifter. And it has a little RS on there with the red stitching. When we put it in reverse, the camera system pops up for us. Now we can push that button, or we can, put it in reverse. It'll just automatically do it, but you don't have to put it in reverse to get to the camera system. There's neutral. There's drive, and then it has a low range. This is like if you need some engine braking. You can also further limit the high gear using this toggle switch for the gear ratios. Cup holders that's open in the center, completely flat there, rubberized on the inside, so that way you can utilize it for more than just cups, or if you have a cup with a mug or whatever. These are really, really good. Put your cell phone in there, prop it up. There's just a really handy combination cup holder and storage area that's just really, when you get in, it's just right there. I find when I get in, it seems like a great place to put stuff. Okay, so there's another little storage compartment right there. So this is the all-wheel drive version, and this is where you find your parking brakes and your lane keeping assist buttons here, so you can engage or disengage those. It has little indicator lights letting you know what's going on with them. But right here is this dial, and right now it doesn't have automatic. It's not automatically in all-wheel drive. Right now it's in two-wheel drive. It just engages the front wheels. And there is some torque steer, so when you actually, take off, you're going to feel a little bit of torque in the steering. It kind of, if you're familiar with a rear-wheel drive vehicle, it doesn't do that. It just punches it, and it doesn't have any effect on the steering wheel. But of course, front-wheel drive is a little bit different. But anyways, that's there. Now, if you want to go to these different things, you can go left or right. Okay, so you have trailer tow mode, so you can go to the left, and it'll go here to that, and it engages all-wheel drive. Then you have like a terrain or slippery terrain or mountain terrain type mode right here, and then you have a sport mode, so you can turn it either way. So this is kind of like an off-road mode, which this vehicle isn't really made for off-road, but you do have a little bit of off-road capability. Sport mode, and then there's just regular all-wheel drive mode. But normal driving around in this area, two-wheel drive is perfect. Save a little bit of gas. All right, so here's your armrest, and soft, comfy armrest, and it has a stitching here in the center and a property line. That's what I call it, a property line. So your passenger can stay on the other side and you can stay on this side, and that way you don't have to fight over it. If you feel like sharing it with the passenger, you can just take up the whole thing and tell them to get lost. All right, lift this up, and it kind of goes up, so Doesn't slam back down. I like that. Kind of stays up for you. Has a little clip there. And here's your storage compartment. You're actually seeing there pretty good. There's some cables for your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. There's the USB and the USB-C ports, just like up here. Those are both inputs. 12-volt power supply, and then you have a little SD card input. That's for updating your maps on your radio, your navigation. And places for wires to go in and out of this compartment, here and here. So the rearview mirror, this is really cool. It has a rearview mirror, okay, just like a normal one, so you can keep an eye on the backseat drivers. It's auto dimming as well, but if you have a bunch of people in the back that have huge afros or something like that, and you can't see behind the vehicle, all you got to do is flip it up, and it engages a screen with a camera. So that way, while you're driving, you can actually see directly behind the vehicle as you're driving, without any obstructions with the pillars, with passengers, cargo, any of that stuff. And it just gives you a really clean look. Now, when you're looking in the rearview mirror, of course, the camera is in the back of the vehicle. So when a car gets up close to you, it's going to look like they're very close, because they are very close to the camera. But you get used to the distance perspective as you're driving. But this is a really cool feature. And it does have some options here. So we can push this button here. So now we can adjust the brightness. Kind of adjust it slightly. Contrast, we're going to adjust that, or magnification. So we can zoom in. Next one is the higher or lower, so your tilt. So you want to see less of the sky and more of the road, you can do that. And it goes back to your brightness. So you have some emergency buttons here. Like I mentioned, you have OnStar, emergency. This has its own cellular connection, so you can actually access all that stuff even without a cell phone. You have some tap lights here. HomeLink garage door opener controls. Place to put some shades, a nice big place, felt lined. And this is for your shade for your panoramic sunroof, and this is your tilt and open it. We'll get to that in a second. Your interior gauges you can turn on or off here. You can also turn off when you open up the door, it'll turn on the interior lights. You can turn that feature off or on. And then you have the little ambient light, and I'll show you that at nighttime. It kind of illuminates the center of the vehicle, kind of like a little moonlight here. It's pretty neat. You can't see it during the day. It's not even on because the headlights aren't on, but a lot of neat features to check out at nighttime. So check out the night video. I'll put a link once it's available. I'll link it in this video. All right, so the rear view mirror, the visor, sorry, has a cloth exterior wrapped around some kind of synthetic board feeling thing. Then you have LED vanity lights, 2 of them, so that way there's not a shadow on your nose, and that's pretty cool. It does extend out as well. Has a little clip. Same thing pretty much on the other side. But let's look at this sunroof. I mean, it is huge. Goes all the way back. Now the shades will open right now. We'll go ahead and close the shade in a second, but let's go ahead and tilt it up. Oh, let's go ahead and open it. I kept pushing it too long. Man, it goes, that's way back there. That's huge. Let's go ahead and close it. You can hold it, or you can just push it one time and it'll go ahead and... Alright, so if we push it one time, it just kind of tilts up. Now let's close the shade. On the hot days you don't want to have the sun on you, you can always close the shade, and it covers up 100% of the light. Some vehicles just have a little bit of a shade. This one is just like a headliner. Okay, so let's look at the visibility in the back. So even though you do have that camera system and you have the blind spot monitor system, parking sensors, and a full like tons of cameras and everything, sometimes you just need some good visibility out of your mirror, over your shoulder, that kind of thing. So let's see what it's all about. Of course, it depends on your passengers and all that stuff, cargo. But there's your side mirror view. And over here. All right, there you have it. I'm gonna have separate videos for the night portion, the test drive portion. I'm gonna have a separate one on the rear view mirror, the camera, just what it looks like driving around. And so that way, you know, might be able to help you out with deciding whether you want to go ahead and spend the money on this particular vehicle. So right after this is gonna be the window sticker and the VIN sticker on the vehicle, also some extra glamour shots at the end. So check it out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.